ahead and plug the sound in, and let's hope that we don't have the problems we had last week. And we'll check the sound. All right. We're good to go. All right. Well, I won't say welcome quite yet because there's nobody here yet. We'll give a minute for anyone? Bueller? Nobody wants to play today. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, it looks nice out, but it's not. It's cold. I went outside earlier with Craig to do a photo of the new hat, and whoo! I went outside in my t-shirt, and it was cold. All right, so welcome to the T350 show. Don't have a lot of time to dilly-dally and wait for people to join us. I do have to get out of here tonight and get to dinner at the church. I got the cheese and the diced onion and the sour cream for the chili tonight, so I got to make sure I'm there before the chili gets served, or not. We won't have the goodies to go with it. And so we've been building an AR. The last couple of weeks, we built this upper. I did add my red dot to it. That is not part of the kit, but everything else you see here besides the red dot is part of our our rifle kit. And we're going to the upper's complete right now, so we're going to get started on the lower. The next 2 weeks, we're going to build out this lower, and then in the third week of that, we're going to do a function check. I have my lower parts kit here. We're going to do a headspace check, a function check, and then we were supposed to be in Alabama on the last week of that, and we were going to do a live fire from the range down there, but that show got pushed back to September, so we're not going to be in Alabama at the end of March. So we're going to have to figure out some other way to do the live fire test live on the show. So today we are going to do our mag release, our bolt catch, our trigger guard, and our front pivot pin. So in our lower parts kit, we have the fire control group. We have, here is our bolt catch and our mag release, along with our safety selector. This is the screw for the handle. We don't need that. So here's our trigger guard. We're going to need that. We're going to need a front pin here, and the detent that goes along with that. Now these little detents, you can see they're very tiny, right? Very tiny little detents, right? These are the things that always go flying, that everyone loses. So hopefully I don't lose anything. And we're going to need this. Okay, that's all we need out of there. We're going to need a couple of springs here. We're going to need that spring. We're going to need this spring. And we're going to need one of these springs. Okay. And we'll get out the knife here. Cut that open. And we are going to need the bolt catch, the mag release button, and the mag release itself. Okay. The rest of this we can put aside for next week's show. All right. We are going to start with, and we're going to pull the magazine out of the box here because we're going to want to check. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and leave that one in the box because it just so happens that I have another magazine right here to do the magazine function check. So, magazine release. This is the magazine release. Okay. So, we drop that into place into the lower receiver. I have a lower receiver here that I bought from Palmetto State. So with this finger, I'm going to hold the mag release in place. I'll bring it up to you there, okay? So I'm holding the mag release in place. I'm going to take my large spring. This is the largest spring in the spring kit. I'm going to place it over top of the threaded stud, and I'm going to take the mag release button with the serrations out towards me, press it down onto the threaded rod over top of the spring, and get it started. And then I'm going to spin it until it is about flush. Then I'm going to press it in completely, and then I'm going to spin the mag release 3 or 4 turns until my button is below the surface of my lower receiver, and when I push, it doesn't escape out. It's trapped, okay? So it doesn't come out there, it doesn't come out there. Now I'll do a function check with the magazine to make sure, 1, that it catches the magazine and locks it in place, and 2, that with the press of the button, it releases the magazine. Okay. That's the mag release. Now, we're going to do the bolt catch. So we will take the small bolt catch spring right here, the bolt catch detent, which looks like a little, has 2 diameters, looks like a little bullet almost, goes over top of the spring. There's a hole right here in the lower receiver, okay? That spring and detent drops in place. Then the mag release, or the bolt catch, okay, goes into the receiver just like so, okay, with the serrations up and the mag release pointing into the mag well. I'll bring it up so you can see. The mag release is into the mag well. The serrations on are up. Okay? Now, I'm going to put this in my block. Oh, you know what I didn't grab? I did not grab the pin, the roll pin that holds that all in place. Okay, small roll pin. Now I'm going to take my starter punch. Okay, if you've seen me do this before, you know I like to crimp my pins so that I kind of shrink the one end just a little bit, close it up, and it helps me get it started. Okay, so I've squeezed the one end so that it's a little narrower, and it helps it self-align itself and get started in that hole. Okay, so this becomes a little tricky. One of the more tricky aspects of doing this. Okay, I'll turn this around so hopefully Myra can zoom in here a little bit and show you kind of what I'm doing. All right. So you got to be a little nimble here. And you get this started. And you hold that all in place with your fingers. And you begin tapping that pin into place. Okay? Alright, now I've hit a little resistance because I need to align. Okay, you'll feel it pop in. Alright? And then when you feel it pop in, you can go ahead and complete the process of then we turn it over. Now I'm going to turn this around facing me so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. In fact, I'm going to show you my little trick for doing this. Okay, once the pin is pretty well started, okay, if you want to swing over here, Myra, I'll take my vise, just swing the top head there you go. I'm going to take my vise and actually use it as a press. Okay. And I am going to press that pin in. The rest of the way with my vise. That way I'm not banging into my anodized lower receiver and scarring it all up. Okay, so now we have the mag release and the bolt release installed. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the front pin. Now you may have to really zoom in here a little bit, Myra, and I'll show you a little trick that I do when installing this. This is one of the detents and springs that can go flying a lot on guys, and they make a bunch of different tools for doing this. Okay, so here's what I like to do. I put the spring in, inserted fully into the hole. Then I lay the detent right across the top. Okay? Can you see it? Okay, you can see the detents laying right across the top of the hole. Then I'm going to take the pin, all right, and I'm going to use the pin. I'm going to put my fingers on either side of it so the pin doesn't escape. Then I'm going to use the pin to push the detent into the hole. I'm going to flip up and boom, installed. That quick. Pretty cool, huh? I haven't ever lost a pin since I started doing it that way. Really slick. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is put the trigger guard on for this week. So, we've all seen on Facebook and different places where guys have been putting their trigger guard on and they end up busting this tab off because as they're pushing the pin in, as they're tapping the pin in, it doesn't align properly and they start pounding, and this is unsupported, right? There's no support there, okay? And they start banging and pounding and bam, they snap that ear off, okay? So this is where having the right tool for the right job comes in handy. You take the bench block and you can see that there is a support right there for that ear. There's something underneath that ear so it can't, there's support under it so it can't be leveraged against itself and it gets snapped off of there. Okay. So we're going to open up the trigger guard package. And again, I'm going to take my pin and I'm going to squeeze the end of it a little bit just to close it up. Get a little smaller diameter, make it a little easier to start. So you're going to see one end of this, okay, has a spring-loaded D10 in it. And you're going to see that one end has a hole through it. You're also going to see on your lower receiver that the back ears, the hole is drilled completely through. Okay? You can see that hole is drilled completely through. This hole on the bottom is not drilled completely through. It's blind. Okay? There's no hole coming through the other side. That is the end that the spring-loaded pin is going to go in. So what you do is you place in, you push down on the spring-loaded pin, and it snaps right in place. Okay? I've seen guys put them in backwards, and it's, you know, it's no big deal. It can come back out, but that's how that goes in. Now, putting this on the bench blocks with the ears supported, we're going to get our pin starter again. Wrong one. Need the bigger one. And we're going to get our little pin started here. Okay. And we're going to tap it. Okay. Now, again, I got it started, okay? And I'm going to come back over here to my vise again, just like I did before. And I'm going to use this vise as a press. And very lightly and gently and easily, I'm going to press that pin into place. And I'm not banging and pounding on my lower receiver and risking breaking that ear off. Okay? That's that. It's that simple. We've installed our magazine catch and release, our bolt catch, our front pivot pin, and our trigger guard. So next week we'll put the pistol grip on, the fire control group, and our butt stock. And the lower will be complete and we'll be ready to assemble the rifle. So old deck of cards. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That would work too. Yeah, there's a trigger guard that uses screws that come from either side, and you can put the screws in. Yeah, put a little grease on your roll pin. That also helps it slide into place. All good ideas, all good suggestions. Let me see if I missed anything here. Okay. Russ has been building rifles for a long time, and he's always in the group. If you have any questions or a need of any advice on building a rifle, Russ is a great resource. You can always reach out to him in the architect group or on this page, and he's more than happy to help you guys out. If you can't get a hold of me, sometimes, most of the times people can get a hold of me, but sometimes, you know. So, that's that. So that's what we wanted to do this week, was get those few things installed. And next week we're going to go ahead and finish this thing out. And then, like I said, the week after that we're going to do a headspace check. I'll show you how to check headspace on an AR. Then we're going to do a proper, at the same time I'll show you how to properly oil and grease your AR for testing and live firing. And then hopefully, like I said, we can get out to the range and do a little shooting. Since our show got canceled in Alabama, we got to figure out a way to make that happen. And we'll go somewhere local around here, I think, probably. So that's that. It's all starting to come together, right? So you can see that this is all going to kind of fit together just like so. And that we got, it's all starting to come together. Won't be long, it'll be a rifle. Well, it's a rifle now, but it'll be a complete and functioning rifle by next week. Yeah, you can, this hole is already sized that you can tap it with a 440. Now, hard anodizing is hard. And, you know, I always recommend tapping it before if you wanted to do that. It can be tapped now, but you just have to be really careful. Use lots of oil. Hard anodizing, like I said, is hard, and a 440 tap is small. You don't want to break a 440 tap off in there. It'll ruin your day. But we'll talk about all that next week as we finish this out. So, get rid of my junk here. I got another rifle I'm working on that we're going to donate to a show we go to every year, the Professional Outdoor Media Association show. I'm working on building a 350 Legend to donate for their fundraising auction. So it's all going to be lasered with the Poma logos and all right. So yeah, you need a little carbide end mill if you do break off the 440 tap. A little 1/32 carbide end mill. Even 60 thousandths would even do it. A 16th inch carbide end mill will get that out of there for you. Slow, just, you know, you got to go real slow. And you probably would need a Bridgeport or a good sturdy drill press. But you have to be real careful too, because, you know, carbide is prone to shatter, and then you put carbide on top of high speed steel, and now you got a real mess. You could really start to booger things up. So I probably won't tap that. I just, you know, if it's not already tapped, I deal with not having to worry about it. I don't tap them once they're hard anodized, just for fear of breaking the tap off. Hard anodizing is, you know, 70-80 Rockwell, and that's hard, right? That's really hard. It's only a couple thousandths thick, but it's hard, and it can play heck on tools. So, all right. So that's all I got this week was those few things. We're going to finish this thing out next week. You know, trying not to if I could do all of this in about an hour, but then it would make a really long show, and we're trying to break the videos up to make instructional videos for the website too. So KNS takedown pin. Oh yeah, that doesn't use the detensor springs. Yep. Yeah. You seen that shirt, Russ, that says I'd MO8 that? if you're not a machinist, you don't understand that. If you're not a CNC machinist, you don't understand what that means. Or what is it? No, it's not MO8. MO8, it's a G code for tapping. G81, right? Man, it's been a long time since I programmed at the machine. I can't remember what it's I think it's G81. I don't know. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, Russ. I think it's G81. G84. I don't know. It's a G80 something. Like I said, it's been a long time since I programmed at the machine. MO8's a coolant code. G codes are tool functions. I know that. I got that. MO8's coolant. Right. Okay. So, like I said, it's been so long since I worked on a programming at a machine. I can't remember what's what on the G codes and M codes. When you do it every day, you remember them. But I feel terrible now. I can't remember what's. All right, so join me next week. We'll finish out this lower, and we'll get this rifle put together. On yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you as always. Remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR, to upgrade it or maintain it. We're here to help you do that. We'll see you guys next week.